Okay, so what's our next favorite category? If it's not physical sensations, it's
Thoughts.
thoughts. We're my thought people. Oh, here you go. Beth, you're like 2 seconds, jump the gun. Any tips for getting out of your head? Well, here we are. We're going to dive right into our heads. Who here, anybody want to pop on dealing with thoughts? Here I am.
Here she is.
Oh, we got the intrusive thought queen. Perfect. Wait till you see my video for tomorrow about kings, not queens. You'll see. Okay, so thoughts. Ready? Got a few of them. Hi, Dare team. My anxiety is very much revolving around existentialism, thoughts of how we exist, thinking the sky looks weird and getting very uncomfortable looking at the sky or how freaky it is that we all live on a planet and so on. I know this is anxiety and have accepted this. What I want to ask is how to apply Dare when the feeling is more or less permanent. Another question is existentialism something common amongst those with anxiety? Also, thank you. And then my anxiety, here's another one. My anxiety is mainly in the form of really upsetting, intrusive thoughts. I'm usually a sociable person, so working from home, I found it hard as there are less things going on for me to absorb rather than giving time to my intrusive thoughts. Depending on how my anxiety levels are, I struggle with finding things that engage me enough. I'm generally okay with the physical symptoms I get, so it's more about being okay with the nature of the thoughts. So my question is, what can I do that will really engage me without falling into using things as a distraction? And then the last one, why do I keep getting what if thoughts and panic attacks when I'm not even anxious or near any triggers? Why can I be so happy and suddenly an intrusive thought pops in your head and feels urgent as if I want to do them? So anybody find those applicable to them? So we know who we're talking to on here. If you want to add it to the chat.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
So you guys, what is an intrusive thought? An intrusive thought, every intrusive thought starts out as a normal thought. Nothing more, nothing less. It's just one crazy, stupid, weird thought that you have. The only difference is that the thought comes and your alarm is active and you're like, oh my God, I cannot think that. And now you did put a hook on it. You did this. You did this. So you
you did this.
And I mean this in the most kind way, because we all do it, right? If you would not care about this thought and only see it as content, then it would not be an intrusive thought. An intrusive thought is only intrusive because you keep telling your brain, this is danger, I cannot think this. And what does this say about me as a person that I'm having these thoughts? And what if it becomes true? And what if this and what if that? And by doing that, it's almost like your brain parks the thought in the back of your head and keeps bringing it to the forefront of your mind and ask you, is this still dangerous? And you're like, yes, very, very dangerous. It's still dangerous. Oh yeah, I cannot think that. And the more you do that, the more sensitized you get and the more intrusive and anxious thoughts will arise. So it doesn't really matter what the content of the thought is. If it's about existentialism, if the sky is blue and why our lungs function in that way and what are fingers and how do we live, it's just content. It's the same in green, in blue, in yellow. It really doesn't matter. It's the way you treat them. And if you avoid them, of course, they will come back even stronger and will scare you even more. The only way out of this is to allow them to be present and to not give them any deal of authority. Like, you just notice them. Oh yeah, that's a weird idea. All right. And you allow it to get back into that natural flow of thoughts. Because think about it, you have thousands of thoughts every day. You're not obsessing about, for example, a thought about depression, but you're obsessing about a thought how lungs function. And somebody else couldn't care less about how lungs function. All they want is to breathe, but they do care a lot about heaven and hell, right? So it doesn't matter. It's really just content. It's, again, your reaction that is causing them to keep coming back.
Right. Picture it as like your heart creates heartbeats, your brain creates thoughts. That's why it's no different. There are thoughts, and then how we treat our thoughts. Right? There's things we can think about our thoughts, we can respond to our thoughts, but we're spending a lot of time thinking about our thoughts. as if they're so important. But it was almost the same exact question as this physical thing we talked about in the beginning. Like, I have this heavy, tight chest and I'm not even anxious. Why? Right. But I'm having these what if thoughts for no real reason. Yeah, because sometimes your brain just creates stuff. Picture it like, when you scroll through Facebook and you see something that you accidentally click on it, or you're like, oh, that kind of looks interesting. And now you're flooded with that stuff because Facebook's algorithms thinks she may be interested in this. Since you've clicked this, you might be interested in this and this and this and this. And if you keep clicking on them, it will keep showing you more things that it thinks you are interested in. That's all this is. And if you're like, oh, shit, not that thought, your alarm's like, ooh, she seems interested in that one. Let's show it to her closely. Let's show her more of these interesting thoughts. It's you guys should know by now, I hate that term intrusive thoughts because nothing is intruding. There is no intruder. And if you talk about them like that, then you label them as something to get rid of. And I love that, I struggle to allow, right? Because if you're struggling, you're not allowing. Allowing means whether you like it or not, you just had a thought you didn't like, and you get to go, yep, there's a thought. Too bad. Whether you allow it or not doesn't mean they're here or there. It just means you're fighting the fact while they are still there. This is your problem, not this. Because this was never danger. Thoughts, you are in no more danger from having a nice thought than having a bad thought. You're not going to burst into flames because you're thinking about flames, right? So I don't have to like thoughts. But the problem is when we think about danger, we feel scared and we think, and I've had people come on I had one person who said months ago, they were saying, I thought all this time, have you ever heard this? That I kind of didn't really think anything until like I made myself think something. Like my brain was basically quiet unless I started thinking about something. But then it's like a thought popped up and I said, why would I be thinking about that? And then that's what kind of drives us for a loop. We think just because we have a thought pop up in our head means it's somewhat meaningful. Anybody on with thoughts? That's kind of like what gets them stuck. Like, oh, this thought must mean something. And the more you try and get rid of that thought, the more stuck you get, the more body sends you fear because you're trying to get rid of the thought. Yeah.
Trying to get rid of the thought, to control the thought, or to change them or alter their frequency is just going to keep you stuck. You can't do that. Don't even attempt to, because it is impossible. But it's funny, we still try that, right, Michelle?
Oh, yeah.
It's impossible, but we still try it.
Yeah, I know, Michelle, but what about this thought? Okay, I know. But I know you're talking about this thought. But what about this thought? What about this thought?
My silly thing again.
What about blue? What about blue? What about red? What about red thoughts? What about red thoughts?
What we cannot do is to choose what comes up on our mental screen, right? The thoughts, they do come. But what I do have choice over is if I look through them, like, oh, I had this thought and now this means, or I can diffuse from them. Oh, look, a thought. Now I have perspective. Now I can see this is just a thought. Here am I, and this is just a thought. This is just content. But when I'm fused to it, all I can see is this. And if I look through the thought, for example, what if I get depressed? And of course, all I'm going to see are signs in my environment that could show me that I'm getting depressed. I will all of a sudden read a newspaper and I'm going to overhear a conversation, somebody talking about depression, because I'm so focused on that.
Yep.
This is just a thought. The only thing you have that is in your control is to create this distance between you and thoughts. That's really all. That's all you get to do. And this is all you need. This is
well, you see, she's not turning them off. You're not shutting down a thought to somebody who just commented there, but I can't turn off my thoughts. Right. You can't turn off your heart either just because you don't like your heart palpitations. You can't turn off your brain because you don't like the thoughts it creates, but you don't have to treat the thoughts. It's not your thoughts. If you're trying to turn off thoughts, that's the problem, not your thoughts. I'm trying to turn off my thoughts. I'm treating my thoughts like danger. It's not thoughts. It's how you treat your thoughts. So it's like, I can have a whole aquarium and look at that fish tank and I can hate that fish in the background, but that's too damn bad. I don't have to stare at the fish and hope it's gone. And oh my gosh, don't get closer to the glass. Don't get closer, don't get closer. Oh, I hope it goes away. Oh, good, it did go away. Oh, I did something to make it go away. Oh my God, here it comes again. Here it comes again. That's how we're treating thoughts. That's what's exhausting. Who is exhausted fighting their thoughts and frustrated because you can't get rid of them? And I'm trying to dare them away. Not going to work. Dare doesn't work for thoughts. Dare helps you treat thoughts different. Dare helps you how you treat things. Okay. So dare is never going to be for this. Dare is going to be for this, your response to thoughts. And when you respond to thoughts as dangerous, and this came up in the question that was sent in, I saw this popped up on the chat.